Menopause. More than just cessation of menses. When I was somewhere between the ages of 5 and 10, I remember my mom constantly complaining of irritability, excessive sweating, and episodes of generalized hotness of the body, so intense that she sometimes described it as the heat wave one would get if they were walking close to a row of raging inferno. It didn't just end there. At about the same time, she was also complaining of difficulty sleeping, severe backaches, and increased frequency of urination, so much that I remember she and my dad were at some point wondering whether it was diabetes she was developing. You see, I am my mom's last child, and she had me when she was 39 years old. Looking back now, I realize that what she was, at that time, transitioning into menopause, and was having the classical features of postmenopausal syndrome. What is menopause? Menopause is the end of a woman's menstrual cycle, and is characterized by cessation of menses, a drastic fall in reproductive hormones, and loss of reproductive potential. The diagnosis of menopause is a retrospective one. It is made after a woman of appropriate age had stayed 12 months without menstruation. Before the actual cessation of menses, a woman approaching menopause starts having menstrual irregularities. This is usually in the form of amenorrhea, periods in which the person stays months without bleeding, alternating with prolonged heavy menstrual bleeds. This stage is usually described as perimenopause. The age people experience menopause vary from individual to individual, and is mainly determined genetically. On the average though, people usually experience menopause between 40 to 55 years of age, with 50 years being the peak age of incidence. If a woman experiences menopause below age 40, it is regarded as premature ovarian failure. Note that menopause itself is a primary failure of the ovaries. Hormonal changes in menopause. The menstrual cycle is regulated by pituitary and ovarian hormones. While the pituitary hormones, follicle-stimulating hormone, FSH, and luteinizing hormone, LH, regulate the ovaries, the ovarian hormones, estrogen, and progesterone, directly regulate the inner lining of the womb, leading to menstruation proper. Menopause occurs due to an age-dependent primary failure of the ovaries. This ovarian failure leads to a drastic reduction, and final cessation, of production of hormones, especially estrogen, from the ovaries. The symptoms of menopause, including cessation of menses, is actually due to drastically levels of estrogen in the body. Progesterone production is relatively spared, and this leads to a tilt in the net production of hormones from feminine to masculine. Postmenopausal symptoms and complications. The clinical features of menopause are due to estrogen lack, and are therefore called climacteric symptoms. They can be classified into the following. Vasomotor symptoms. Effect on bone metabolism. Urogenital atrophy. Psychiatric manifestations. Effect on one's sex life, etc. Note that this is not exhaustive. Vasomotor symptoms. These occur due to removal of the negative feedback inhibition of the hypothalamus by estrogen. With the hypothalamus being Sherrington's head ganglion of the autonomic nervous system, removal of this inhibition leads to pulses of sympathetic discharge and occasional reset of the body's thermostat in the hypothalamus. This leads to the following symptoms. Hot flashes/flushes. Excessive sweating. These set of symptoms, which usually occur within 1 to 2 years of onset of menopause, but may last up to 10 years in some, can be so intense as to interrupt sleep, lead to poor concentration at work, emotional lability, and irritability. They're usually the reasons postmenopausal women seek for medical attention first. Effect on bone metabolism. Usually there's a balance between loss of old bone cells and production of new ones, a process called bone remodeling. Menopause tilts this balance negatively, leading to loss of more bone cells without commensurate replacement with new ones. This leads to osteoporosis, otherwise called brittle bone disease, a condition in which bones are so porous, weak, and brittle that they can break easily. It is usually worse in women who smoke, don't have enough calcium, and don't make enough vitamin D. Urogenital atrophy. Lack of estrogen in menopause leads to vaginal dryness and shrinking of the vulva, vagina, and other surrounding structures. This leads to the following symptoms. Vulval itching. Increase in frequency of urination, with associated urgency. Pain during urination, dysuria. Pain during sex, dyspareunia, etc. Psychiatric manifestations. Menopause, and the associated hormonal fluctuations, have a serious impact in one's psychiatric health. It can lead to the following. Insomnia. Anxiety disorder. Depression. Worsening of already existing psychiatric disorder. Cognitive impairment, especially memory lapses, and poor concentration, in the peri- and the immediate postmenopausal period, etc. Effect on sexual life. Menopause is associated with sexual dysfunction. This is because of the following. Vaginal dryness, and associated pain during sex. The psychological baggages of menopause, including sleep disturbances, depression, anxiety, etc. Dwindling hormonal levels leads to decreased libido. Treatment. The major treatment for postmenopausal syndrome is hormonal replacement therapy, HRT. It is, however, not that straightforward, as a lot of things need to be put into consideration. So, endeavor to see your doctor for a review if you are postmenopausal and having any of these worrisome symptoms. Do not self-medicate. Enjoy your day.